All right, well, I guess we'll see how this works out. Yesterday, I was reading Ecclesiastes, and Ecclesiastes is basically about a worldview that says that everything is irrelevant. The term used in the King James is vanity, but I mean, that's basically what it's saying. It's saying, hey, uh, well, it kind of like Jesus says in the New Testament that the sun and the rain hit both the good and the bad, right? Um, and so he's saying that everything is meaningless in terms of it's a redundant cycle that you can't really gain ultimately because you start with nothing and you end with nothing. And some people speculate that this book was written by Solomon, who was, biblically speaking, deemed to be one of the wisest, if not the wisest man who ever lived. And so it's almost a strange thing that such a negative, pessimistic book would be in the Bible. And so I was thinking about that, and I think upon reflection that one of the problems that Solomon encountered was that I don't know that he experienced any kind of love relationship with God. Um, and I think that in part is one of the problems, the reason he felt the way he did. And it's funny because the scripture that reminded me about that was in the New Testament with Paul. And when Paul, I'm sure you guys know it better than me. I think it's in Ephesians. Hold on, I'm going to pause here real quick and see if I can find it. Okay, I'm back. I'm not sure how clear the passage is for you, but if you want to look it up, it's 1 Corinthians, they call it, chapter 13. And I'll read it real quick here. Uh, Though I speak with the tongues of men and angels and have not charity, which is love, I am become a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could move mountains, if I have not charity, which is love, I am nothing. Though I bestow my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing. So then the passage goes on to explain uh, some of the parameters that make you recognize love. Uh, but my point is, in all of Solomon's wisdom, I don't think he caught on to the love relationship that's supposed to happen there. So um, it's almost like when if you're in a relationship with somebody or something that you care about, and then that thing is gone, that it's almost two ways to look at it. You can look at it like, um, I wish I never met this person because it's painful that they're gone. Or you can look at it like, I'm so grateful I had the opportunity to know this person. So I was reflecting on that in terms of even with myself, because sometimes an argument that can be used against atheists is this very argument in terms of if this is your worldview, then what do you care about anything because it's all meaningless. Um, but it's funny because at the same time, when I reflect on my relationship with God, um, I have to acknowledge that even if there was no heaven or if there was no hell, when I'm really having my moments with God, it's like, or I've had enough of them that I think life is worth living, even if there is nothing after it. And that's not, I'm not saying I believe that, but what I'm saying is it's a very powerful feeling to know that it's like, um, to love God and to know God loved me, and that if nothing else, I will always be remembered by Him, which means I will never be forgotten. Then I'm not saying I don't want to go to the next chapter of existence, but I am saying I still think it was worth it, and it's a really cool thought that at a minimum I won't be forgotten. Um, Hold on, let me pause again. Get me a little emotional. Ha ha ha. Sorry about that. Um, so I think the other thing that's important to recognize if you do read this book, because he's a pretty smart guy, so his arguments can pretty be pretty rough on the psyche, I guess you would say, is um, I don't know what Solomon's experience of God was. I know he believed in God, but I don't know if he thought that God was more indifferent and it's just was one of his creations and he didn't, you know, I don't know. It seems clear to me that there was some kind of love aspect that got lost there. But I think part of the problem is if he thinks that there is nothing else as well, then his argument in terms of saying that how you live, if no matter what you do, when you're gone, everybody's gone, then that would mean that the ledgers um, were never balanced, right? So that is to say, what somebody in another religion might call karma. Okay, so if there is, if the end was just the end, then there is no goes around comes around situation, which interestingly enough is kind of contrary to the way the universe seems to function. That is to say, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And even though sometimes it doesn't seem that way, there are some pretty complicated formulas that show that uh, some of what doesn't look like an equal reaction from the universe is just broken down into different forces and elements in it, so it can be distributed in terms of how the reaction comes, but there is definitely a action and reaction that I would think that um, anyone who's looked at any kind of physics would kind of appreciate and respect that. Uh, Having said that, I guess what I'm saying is Solomon didn't seem to understand that there is a reckoning, that there is more than just this side of the coin, so to speak. And it's kind of sad in the sense that it's like, um, he listened to his dad to get wisdom, but it seems like he never read what his dad wrote, or he never really got like who his dad was and what his dad believed. Because if you read the Psalms, you can tell that what David really looks forward to, all he kind of ever really wanted. Um, and I'm not saying he didn't have ambitious moments or whatever, but at least part of him, he just wanted to be with God. He just wanted to be in heaven with God, and and so he definitely believed in an afterlife and in a reckoning. But because Solomon didn't, I think none of it made sense to him, and it kind of made him bitter. He felt like it was just, uh, I guess, some kind of display on God's desk or something. I don't know. We'll have to ask him that one day. Anyway, it's just my thought, and I'm hitting the scriptures hard lately, so anytime I have some thoughts, I think I'm gonna just record whatever I'm thinking because, tomorrow's not promised to any of us. Maybe this isn't some fantastic video production that would make somebody a lot of money doing whatever, but I'm really not interested in that as much as uh, sharing observations that I have so that if somebody else can benefit from them, they do. All right, well, we'll see. I've been doing some reading and stuff. We'll see if I have any new ones. I'll post them. Otherwise, you won't hear from me for a while. All right, bye bye.